Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Startup Sense podcast. This is your host, Jonah Lupton. Thanks for joining us today. As always, just want to remind you to subscribe to the Startup Sense podcast on iTunes or Google Play, and that way you never miss an episode. Okay, to today's show. So our guest today is Dror Ginzberg. He is the co-founder of a company called Wochit. The website is wochit.com, but it's spelled a little differently. It's WOCHIT.com. He started the company back in 2012. They got about 50 employees spread out across the globe, headquartered in New York, but they also have offices in London and Israel. They've raised about $28.5 million. And let's talk to Dror. What's up, man? How are you?
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for joining us. So before we talk about Wochit, what were you doing before you started this company?
Another company. I've been in the high tech industry for many, many years, mostly within small companies. So a previous company I was part of was sold, and probably like 3 months afterwards, we started another one.
Cool. And then you started this company in 2012. You have a co-founder, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you've known him. And you've known him for how long?
Probably close to 20 years, I guess. We worked didn't work together prior to that company, but we knew each other for many, many years, working, in the similar areas of technology. We wanted to work previously together, it didn't work out, but eventually with this one, we came together and started that company, Wochit.
Cool. Who came up with the original idea? Was it you or him? Be honest.
That was me.
Okay, cool.
That was me. He was almost basically on the beach with a beer when I came up with the idea. So yeah, it was me. But you know how it is. Like things, change a lot once you start working on something.
So when you decided to come up with this idea, you went to him, you pitched to him, he said yes. What happened next? I mean, did you guys have to start? Well, actually, you know what? First, tell us what exactly does Wochit do? What is the mission of the company?
Yeah. So Wochit today is a video creation platform. Helps mostly publishers, but any storyteller to be able to turn stories into videos very efficiently, quickly, literally within 10 minutes, with speed and scale, but still maintain, brand identity and high quality video. Obviously, mostly serves publishers, as I said, for O&O, but social is becoming huge these days. So social video is a big part of that. That's what we do.
So are these and I know if you go to the website, you guys have about, it says you work with 350 brands. You have at least about a dozen or 24 of them listed there, including CBS, Time, USA. I mean, all the big brands and media companies that we all know. What types of videos are they publishing? Are these videos for their websites, for social, for newsletters? I mean, how are they typically using this content?
Yeah, basically for all of them. Other than the fact that the site is not up to date, we have already 450 today. But yeah, they create videos both for their own and operated properties, could be their websites, but also for their mobile apps and OTT, stuff like that. But again, social has become very, very significant to us. And they definitely create videos that go on their social feeds. Primarily, obviously, Facebook, but Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all these, we support various kinds of videos and formats like square videos and vertical and stuff like that. So we see our videos basically on every digital medium that these guys are using.
And what were these companies using before you guys had a solution for them?
I think that what we've came to solve is, if you look at the, video ecosystem, it's pretty crowded. Everybody thinks, video is good and great and there's lots of potential, but it's pretty crowded. We were focusing on a video production side because we believe the video production side isn't solved. Traditionally, it has been something very cumbersome, time-consuming, very labor-intensive. So we were focusing on the production itself. So you could say that they previously you were using software like Premiere or Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, these kind of software. But these usually requires real professionals to create high quality video. You need a graphic designer and a sound engineer and a video editor in order to get something within a couple of hours or 3 hours or 4 hours. With us, we're basically almost democratizing the ability to produce almost by anyone who's not necessarily a pro but he can still produce something that looks really professional very, very quickly. So that's where we stand.
Now, how long did it take you guys to actually build the software or build this solution platform, whatever you call it?
Yeah, it took us about 9 months to come up with a first product. To be very honest, looking back, it was complete crap. But that's how it is. Like, release early and release often. That's what they say. So we've released pretty quickly. Within less than a year, we had the product out.
Awesome. Okay, so when did you guys raise your first round? Was it pre-product launch or was it pre-developing the product?
It was pre-developing the product. Since both me and my co-founder had some experience with previous companies, the venture capital industry in Israel, when we started raising funds, knew us pretty well. So it was, I want to say easy, but it was pretty obvious that we can get seed money from venture capital. So we've raised a little bit of money from them, including some of our own money initially that we invested, and started basically hiring people and developing the software with money in the bank.
Okay. And that I'm sitting here about Crunchbase right now. I'm just going to see what that first round of capital was. So it says back in May 2013, you guys raised 4.75 million. That sound right?
Yeah, actually previously the seed funding was 1.2 million initially that we've raised. So again, it was from a seeder fund, which was an Israeli-based VC, and some of our own personal money.
Okay. So that helped you put the team together, develop the product, and then you guys launched it, got some traction, and then raised more money?
Correct. We were also lucky to have, a few first members of the team, people who worked with us in the past or either knew us for many, many years. And, it was a close team that was willing to take the risk and, leave their jobs even without the company being formed yet. So we already from the beginning were, 4 or 5 guys starting the work.
Okay. So when you guys built the first product, I assume most of your engineers were out of Israel, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then when did you guys set up the New York office?
Basically, as soon as we started marketing into this region and going direct. So we obviously initially we did not open an office immediately of our own. We were one of these shared places here in New York City, but pretty quickly, the initial sales were in New York, and it was pretty much obvious that all of our big clients or potential clients are here in New York. So we just had to really quickly once we had the first launch. So within a year, we all.
I'm losing you. The reception all of a sudden got pretty bad. Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I can repeat it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
So I said, within about a year, we started. We've opened an office here in New York. Obviously, it was a shared space at the early days. But it was clear to us that our clientele is, or a lot of it, is in New York City. So within about a year, we already had an office over here.
Well, how do you guys actually reach these media brands? I assume is it a long sales process, and is it mostly initiated by your internal sales team?
So it's mostly direct sales, but I must say that it has shortened significantly. First of all, the more we're penetrating the market, the easier was it to us to shorten the cycles of sales. We're already familiar. We probably do not need to represent ourselves. We'll see this is what watch it. People already know us, so obviously that helps a lot. And the second thing is that there's the need for video is so big and so strong is that you don't need to convince people a lot that there is a need, but you do need to prove them that your product works and returns the investment, obviously. But that said, the need for video is so strong is that so the value proposition resonates very, very well.
And what do these companies typically pay you? Are they paying you a monthly or annual fee, or do they pay per use?
It's basically pay per use, but that said, it is based on packages. So what we do is similar in a way to SaaS businesses, in which we eventually charge on a package basis. So it provides them some kind of a minimum guarantee, provides us some kind of a minimum guarantee on a monthly basis, but for them, it guarantees the bottom line business model is that we sell by the video. So the more they produce, the more they pay us. The less they produce, the less they pay us.
Okay. What do you think your average client pays you per year?
That varies a lot, but I can say that the average runs between, say, 3.5K to 60K, and on a monthly basis.
Oh, wow. Okay. So some of these clients are using your service daily, right?
Oh, all of them are using our service daily. All of them.
Wow. Okay.
Within our clients today, it's about probably 1,300 videos created every day.
Is it typically the marketing department, or like who's the person that, on a large inside of a large media company or publisher that is using your product?
So I would say it starts primarily with the editorial team, and in some cases, even within those editorial teams, the video production teams. That said, we've seen, since the product is so easy to use, we've seen it expanding into social teams, obviously, and in many cases, we've also seen it going down to. So
Okay.
as I said primarily it's the editorial team, and in many cases within the editorial team, the video production team. But we did see expansion to social teams and other teams in the organization. But most interestingly, since the platform is so easy and simple to use, we've seen a lot of reporters and editors themselves using the platform and creating videos. Something they would normally never be able to do because they were, writing a piece of article in text alone. So now they're capable of doing videos. So it pretty much starts this way, but expands usually within the organization.
This is Jonah Lupton, founder of the Lupton Group and host of the Startup Sense podcast. Are you struggling to find the right tech team to build your company's website or mobile app? Maybe you've developed a product but need help with your go-to-market strategy, including branding and marketing. Well, stop worrying, because my team at the Lupton Group can assist you with all of those needs. We specialize in helping entrepreneurs and startups of all sizes launch and grow their businesses. For a free consultation, you can email me at jonahlupton@gmail.com or visit our website at luptongroup.co.
Since you started the company 4 or 5 years ago, I'm sure a lot's changed with the platform. What's been the most challenging thing for you and your co-founder?
Product-wise, or generally speaking?
I guess both. I mean, they're both, conversations in themselves. So let's go product first, and then just in general.
Yeah, I think that product-wise, it takes time to find the right product market fit. And you need to be super attentive to your clients. I think we were very lucky to have many of them, or a significant number of them early on, and some of them are really into helping us, so to speak, solve the problem. So being very attentive to their needs and adjusting what you initially think needs to be done versus what they tell you should be done. That's a fine balance always, because on one hand if you only listen to your clients, you may potentially hurt innovation. So they might not know what they want. But that said, you should listen carefully to them and listen to what they say, and they would normally let you know what they need. So I guess that was something that took us a little bit of time to adjust the product and get a great product market fit. So that is something we've worked quite a bit on in the past, at least 3 years.
And then, overall, what's been the biggest challenge aside from product?
Penetrating with a new product into the market is always a challenge. I think that one of the biggest challenges, and which is, by the way, I don't think is any different than any other SaaS business, although, again, we're not typically a SaaS business, but that said, acquiring a client is one thing. Growing them, 10 times or 20 times more than what you acquired them initially is probably the biggest challenge. How you can turn a client that pays, $5K a month to $50K a month. That's always challenging because eventually it boils to how deep does your product go within their organization. And that takes a lot of resources and training and stuff like that. So that's always challenging, and it keeps on challenging us today as well.
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, I was just watching a video this morning from Noah Kagan, and that's what he was saying. It's easier and smarter to grow your existing clients. Get them to use the products 3 times, 5 times, 10 times more than it is to try to grow your overall existing customer base by 3, 5, 10 times. So, it sounds like you guys that's what you've been trying to do, right? Is get your existing client base to just use the product more often?
No, absolutely. More often, or just expand the usage within more users within the organization. By the way, I think both are challenging, and I tend to agree with that statement. Again, as I said, since we are in such a hot space, so to speak, and the demand is so big, getting the foot in the door. Again, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's not extremely difficult. When we get there, we just need to have one demo, and the clients want to try the product out because it's like super intriguing to get into it. I think that for us the challenge is the internal growth, but still it's a lot of the potential. Clearly, a lot of the potential is there, and we saw great success. You were talking about a few of our clients, but Gannett is just one example. Starting with only USA Today at the beginning. Today, it's about over 66 properties of Gannett using our platform on a daily basis. That doesn't happen overnight, but once it happens, the return is tremendous.
Right. Wow. Yeah. So some of these relationships can be extremely valuable. Sounds like they can get pretty big. What's been your fundraising strategy? I mean, from when you guys raised that initial seed round, you said $1.5 million. So now you guys have raised upwards of $28 or $29 million. How have you gone about that? Is it like every 18 months you start looking for new money?
I think it's very important when you're fundraising to be very clear with yourself and with your investors. What's the next step? What is the next step that would eventually help you raise the next round? So that's one thing which I think is clearly very important. The other thing is that we have been always very, very aggressive, meaning would like to move fast. Let me phrase it this way. I think I'd rather fly an F-15 into the wall rather than fly a Piper slowly from destination A to B, so to speak. So I think that being aggressive was something that always led us. Doing things simultaneously, trying a lot of stuff, and that obviously costs money. But I think most importantly is to know what your next target is and hit it, because that next target is what usually gets you your next funding. And obviously in each stage, that target is completely different, right? At the early days, it could be, I need to acquire just 2 or 3 clients just to prove the case. And then I can grow it. So that could be very, very early days. Moving forward, it could be, month-to-month growth of your revenue. So it very much depends on your stage, and so that would dictate what would be your next goal.
What are some of the metrics and numbers that you look at on a daily or weekly basis? I mean, is it new clients? Is it churn? I mean, since you're sort of SaaS, not like you're semi-SaaS, I guess. But what metrics do you like to look at?
I look at a few KPIs. So first of all, clearly, I always look at revenue. I'm a great believer that a company should, be able to generate revenue pretty quickly, rather than not. So that's obviously a big metrics. But that said, usage of our platform is a key metric. So how many videos were created and how many videos were created per client, etc. And financially, something that combines the amount of creation versus the revenue side of it is the net revenue per video being created. Because once you get to a significantly positive big number, that means that if you can scale it, you can make big money. So that's a KPI which is very important for us. Was very important for us from day one.
Okay. How do you manage all these KPIs? Do you have like a favorite dashboard that pulls them all in?
Yeah, so to speak, it's pretty complex. We have so many data all over the place. So we're using Mixpanel, and we're using Intercom, and we're using Google Analytics, and eventually, and we're using our own in-platform analytics, obviously. So the product is very is basically filled with events on the usage itself. Eventually, we combine all of it together. And, some, BI guys or financial guys put everything together to come up with a dashboard that I can have a look on, definitely at least on a monthly basis, if not closer than that.
Okay. What is your top goal for 2017 for the company?
First of all, we're going to probably anywhere between total revenue this year, which is going to be the same as we did previously. Growth is very, very important for us this year. I think we're making it. We're going to also expand geographically. We've basically did mostly U.S. initially, then moved to EMEA. Started experimenting with Asia Pacific and Latin America. So Latin America is going nicely, but we also plan to expand into Asia Pacific this year, and we see lots of potential over there. On top of that, we are looking for additional, growth engines and new products and how to sell new stuff that we may not be selling at the moment, and how could that grow our business and move it, to the, a next step.
Are there new products and features that your customers are asking for that you guys have not delivered on yet?
We definitely have a few good ideas of things which are outside of what we do today. Not necessarily things that were requested by our clients as is, but could potentially help with new markets.
Okay. I mean, how often do you guys, is it you personally that's, getting feedback from these customers, trying to gauge how happy they are with the platform and what they might be looking for in the future? Or is that someone else on your team?
Not necessarily me personally. Obviously, there are too many clients that I can be with and get some direct feedback. But we have a customer success management team, which is doing a great work, and these guys are collecting a lot of data. So we have lots of data coming from them. So it's a big team spread across the world that provides us the data literally on a daily basis.
Okay. Do you guys actually do the hosting of the videos too?
No. At the end of the day, when it comes to serving the videos, every video being created on our platform gets ingested into, so to speak, an OVP. So we provide a feed of our videos into Brightcove, Wuyala, Kaltura, whatever our clients are using, and they're basically serving the content off of their own platforms.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. I just wanted to double check. Where do you see this company in a few years? Obviously you've raised a lot of money. You guys certainly have the cash to remain independent. Do you think another company might try to come in and acquire you at some point, or are you really focused on remaining independent for the foreseeable future?
I actually, within any company that I've been to before, I try to remain just independent. I think that if you constantly think of, what's your exit strategy, you're wasting time, so to speak. But if you build a sustainable business and a good company, good things happen. So we're just trying to grow, keep on serving our clients the best we can. And again, if something happens, that's great. But otherwise, we just keep on growing the company.
So I think we all learn from failure, maybe from other people's failures, or at least, we should. What are one or two of, mistakes that you guys have made over the last 4 or 5 years, that if you could go back and do over again, you probably would?
Mistakes that we've done. First of all, as you said, like mistakes, I think we're making mistakes daily.
That's good. That means you guys are moving fast, right? That's typically what happens when you move fast, which isn't always a bad thing.
You know what? Maybe instead of thinking what's the biggest mistake we've done, because as I said, I really think we've done a lot of mistakes. At the end of the day, it's anywhere from funding mistakes to product mistakes to market mistakes, whatever you think. I think that the most important thing at the end of the day is to quickly as possible identify you've made a mistake and as quickly as possible fix it. Acknowledging you've made a mistake is probably much more important than not making it. So, I always tell my team, like for just as one example, like I'd rather people ask for forgiveness rather than for permission. You know what I mean? So just move forward, just move ahead, go along, move ahead. People make mistakes. Just acknowledge you made a mistake, be totally aware of it, and just fix it as quickly as you can. And that I think applies to any mistake that you can make, whether it's on the business side, financing side, HR, whatever you can think of.
What has been your hiring or recruiting strategy? You guys are at 50 people right now. Where were you a year ago, and where do you plan on being a year from now in terms of headcount?
No, I think obviously at the early days it was focused a lot on the R&D and product side. Obviously, at the early days. And moving forward, things started to change. You need people who are much more organized, or you need marketing functions, or you need much more sales and marketing. These days, we're definitely much more focused on sales and marketing, expanding, again, not just geographically, but, within the teams that we have, having more, having more power on the sales and marketing is extremely important. So that has changed significantly. So just other examples could be operational stuff. Once you have so many clients at one point, it becomes an operational issue. So you need to fold in all the financial entities inside and these kind of things. So I would say that I usually try to hold on, so to speak, until I really need something, rather than just hiring ahead of time. I'd rather people are very, very busy in what they need to do rather than waiting for a job to come in. So I would say I'm not necessarily proactive, but looking at what needs to be done for the near term and then hire accordingly.
Do you think it's is it harder to hire a really good engineer or a really good salesperson?
Wow. Both are extremely difficult. First of all, and by the way, it depends a lot on the region, right? Because the engineering in Israel or in Silicon Valley or in New York is extremely, extremely competitive. Our team R&D team is in Israel, and it's super competitive, and getting good people is extremely hard. I think that like with many other companies, things that do work quite a lot is people who and your close networks and your employees' close network usually works well. And when you move to New York, like hiring good salespeople is extremely competitive as well. So I don't know if I can compare the two. I would say they're both very difficult.
I mean, a good engineer in Silicon Valley probably makes anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000 a year. What does a good engineer in Israel cost nowadays?
Let's see. I need to translate the currency, but I would say, let's say 120.
Okay, so good money. I mean, not quite Silicon Valley money, but still pretty good money. And I'm guessing Israel's probably a lot cheaper to live than Silicon Valley, right?
Oh, absolutely. It definitely has to do with the cost of living. Same, by the way, goes to salespeople in New York City. If you want to live in New York City and have a family with 2 kids, you really got to have a very nice salary in order just to, put your head above the water. So it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, you live in New York City with a family, and you're only making $100,000. You're eating peanut butter and jelly every day. I mean, that's a very expensive city. Do you think you'll keep the headquarters in New York for the foreseeable future, just given how much media presence there is there?
Oh, absolutely. I think we'll stay here for a long time. But yeah, we'll probably expand to other locations in the near future. But yeah, New York City just provides a great base to be at, given the amount of big clients we can literally you throw a stone and you hit a client. So everything is pretty close.
So you guys are already working with 450 media brands around the world. So this might be a hard question, but who is the dream client that you're not working with yet?
First of all, we don't have the New York Times yet, so that's just one example.
Okay.
I don't know if I can think of any other big media name here in.
Now, have you? I assume you guys have been talking to New York Times, right? Or you've at least pitched them before?
Absolutely. I think the challenges, by the way, especially within organizations like the New York Times, but not just them, is that the turnover is so big. You can have a conversation for 3 months, and then all of a sudden the guy you talk to is no longer there, and you find yourself almost in square one. So that happens a lot in the media space in New York.
Right. I ran into that. One of my companies dealing with the hotel space, dealing with like hotel general managers. And, there's so much turnover in that business, because if they don't if they don't do a good job, they're gone. And if they do a good job, they get recruited to another property that isn't doing well. So they can fix that property. So it's like,
Absolutely.
Every 6 months, these guys are moving around, and it's like, you can't even keep track of them. It's crazy. What is so you guys don't have like traditional angel investors, or at least it doesn't look that way according to Crunchbase. You guys have mostly been dealing with like seed funds and then VC firms. But how are these investors been adding value for you? I mean, have they been bringing clients, into the company? Is it really just been about capital? How are they helping you guys grow?
Yeah. So first, that is correct. We have either VCs or strategic investors. By the way, all of the strategic investors that we have in the company are clients of ours. I think that the value that investors would give you or could give you, again, very much depends on the stage. Potentially, access into more funding. That is something that investors can help with. In some cases, partnerships with bigger organizations and partners you can work with. Introductions for hiring other people is definitely something that comes handy. And specifically, if you have an investor that is very much familiar with your market, they can get you in front of people that otherwise you couldn't get. So we definitely had investors helping us literally penetrating the market by just making high-level intros.
Cool. Got a last couple questions here. If you were to sit down with a soon-to-be entrepreneur, someone looking to start a company, maybe in the media space, doing something, that doesn't really matter. But what advice would you give to them? I mean, what have you learned the most during this journey of the last 4 or 5 years that you could share with us?
I would say a couple of things. First of all, generally speaking, starting a company means a lot, and if you're not ready to devote yourself 100%, don't even get started. So I think that's the one most important advice, because it's totally it's a total thing. It's either you do it seriously or you don't do it at all. That's the way I view it. And it takes a lot of your time and a lot of your time with your family and with your friends and generally speaking. So I would say, if you're not up to it really, and it's not burning within inside of you, and you don't feel like you really, really have to do it because that's your passion, I guess just don't do it. Specifically within the media space, if I'm looking into that, that space in specific, I would say it's pretty much a bleeding industry, right? Like especially with these days, with all Facebook eating everybody's lunch. Just as one example. So, and CPMs going down, it's a challenging environment to be at. And not that I think that any other environment may be easier. Everybody sees their own environment and think it sucks or it's hard. But I assume that any other environment has its own cons and pros. But I think that industry is pretty much not an easy one, so to speak.
So I'm guessing a large part of your customers have come to you guys through outbound sales, meaning, you have a sales team that's calling on these editorial directors and whatnot and trying to get them to use the product. Any inbound marketing working in terms of content or, social or webinars, or you guys attend conferences? I mean, what else is working besides outbound sales?
All of the above. All of the above. We do content marketing. We do social. We do events. Webinars we didn't find very attractive or very, I would say, not yielding, great results. So we stopped doing these. But I think we have, again, going back to what has changed in the past, let's say, year and a half or so, is that in terms of the amount of leads, a year ago or a year and a half ago, our team was literally asking, get us more leads, like inbound, and we had only a few. These days are basically, we're working on how can we stop that? How can we automate the number of leads and, try to respond to some of them automatically or just filter them better or qualify them better, because we have lots of leads coming in, probably more than we need, which is a great, great thing. So the challenges have become completely different in terms of, the lead generation, lead qualification. Changed significantly. And I think that all of what we did contributed to that. Again, and so as you said, social media, we do a lot in social media, content marketing, all of that. We do all of them.
This is kind of like the last question I usually ask nowadays to most founders, because it seems like most of the companies I bring on are growing rapidly, so they're hiring, trying to fill some positions. Are you guys currently hiring inside the U.S. for any specific jobs? And if so, what would that ideal person look like?
Yeah, we are looking mostly for sales. So we are expanding our sales team here in New York and potentially in Latin America as well. People who know our industry, who know the media space, who are familiar with video, preferably the kind of people who we'll be looking for. I would say would probably also say that we're looking for people who have some experience, not people who just, not their first job. So they've been around and they can pretty much quickly, get the ball running.
Okay. And it'd be nice if they had some of those large media publisher relationships to bring to the table.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, cool. Anything that we missed that you wanted to get out there to the audience, or what's the best way for us to learn more about the company and then connect with you online?
Yeah. So I think our website, is filled with data. I would urge people who are intrigued by our value proposition to go into our use case section, and there's so many nice use cases. I would say, especially on social. Social has been enormous to us in the past year. I would definitely urge people to go to our use case part of the website and have a quick look of some of what our clients are doing with our platform.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm on that page right now. The case studies page.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So right, I see a lot of cool stories here from New Scientist and CBS. I mean, I don't even know half these brands. I think this one actually is Ashton. Is this Ashton Kutcher's brand? Yeah, I think it is. A+. Yep.
Yeah, A+. Correct. A+ Ashton Kutcher.
How did you guys start working with his brand?
To be very honest, I just don't know. One of my guys has done the deal, and I just don't know, honestly.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you guys are doing an amazing job, man. I mean, if you create a beautiful product, companies will use it. And it sounds like that's what you guys have done. You make it really easy for companies to create videos. And, I would think that once one of your, clients starts using this, all the competitors of that client want to use it too, right? Is that somewhat true?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? If I'll add maybe one more thing, at the end of the day, service is super important, and service or good service is always being provided by people with good intentions, or just good people doing the job. So I think we've excelled in serving our clients the best way possible, and that shows a lot, when they communicate with us.
Cool. We're doing a great job building a great company. Have you guys made any acquisitions yourselves?
No, we haven't.
You think you would at some point, or?
I don't foresee that in the near future, but moving forward, anything can happen.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Well, thank you, Dror. I really appreciate you being on the show today. I want to wish you guys the best and continued success in 2017 and beyond.
Thank you so much for having us.
You got it, man. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.